Good morning. Thank you for having me.
What's the best way to decide on the right career path?
I think the important thing for any decision of that nature is for one to understand very deeply and consciously about oneself. And as young people tend to do, as you'd know, they find it very difficult and very challenging just to have that ability to self-reflect and introspect in terms of what works for me as a human being, as an individual, how do I change, how am I a dynamic human being, and how does that enable sound decision making? And probably one of the most important decisions that one could make in one's life is what to study after school, what to do after school, what are my options, and so forth. And so that really and truly is the basis and platform from which one departs in a discussion like this.
And what are some of the most common careers that school leavers are leaning towards, and are these careers sustainable?
We're seeing a very strong tendency and trend towards the arts and the monetization of arts. As you know, social media and technology has really enabled young people to formulate and construct careers that have never really existed in the past. And so that really becomes such a viable opportunity for young people to follow. But I think the challenge being that the creativity is the easy part, if there is such a thing like an easy part. But how does one make that a career? How does one monetize that? How do you go into business discussions and negotiations to actually scale your idea of artistic flair and innovation? And I think that's where organizations like ourselves, through our parent organization, Honoris Universities United, have done really well throughout South Africa as well as Africa in really focusing and showcasing what 21st century digital and literacy skills are and how that can be useful going forward.
And just in these days where there's so much talk about changing careers because of digitization and innovation, what skills are the most crucial to succeeding in careers?
I think one's ability to adapt is going to be central for life. It's not just a career skill, but I think it's a life skill that people need to develop. Is your ability to adapt to changing environments, changing realities, changing economies. And really, if you use the word pivot, which might be overused in many contexts, but certainly your ability to just fluidly transition from one direction to another will really set you up for success, especially if you consider, like you mentioned, technology being an enabler of change. And it's going to increase at a rate that we've really never seen before. If you consider the artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities that are just out there at the moment, it's going to catalyze these changes in ways that we really can't fully understand at this point in time. And so the best way to equip oneself for that kind of a rapid rate of change is to be able to adapt to change. And I think, it goes without saying that many people overuse the word adapt as well. And it ties in very, very nicely and neatly back with the point that I made right at the beginning. If you understand yourself very well, it makes adapting to situations a lot more easier.
And so what trends are we seeing that could affect one entering various careers at this moment, Dr. Patel?
Yeah, there's several trends. I mean, if you look at it, you have to really look at it in several dimensions, and perhaps maybe at the macro level. We're seeing that, South Africa and Africa as part of the global economy, we are subject to influences that happen outside of our control. And so those really force us to make changes accordingly. One, again, that needs to look no further than the conflict in Russia and Ukraine, the war in Russia and Ukraine, and just see what's that done to so many industries. And so one of the other trends that's emerging more at a micro level is that there's careers that are opening up in supply chain management. And our programs, we've seen an uptake, a very big uptake in supply chain management programs within Regent Business School, purely because we believe that those macro influences and dynamics are having a direct impact on people's decision making, and people are recognizing, young people in particular, are recognizing that there are opportunities within supply chain management, within human resources capital, human resources management. There are so many new emerging career paths and opportunities that are opening up.
Let's thank you at this time for joining us, Dr. Shahiem Patel, the head of School for Commerce and Management at Regent Business School, talking to us about choosing the right career path.